then you do more videos like this realtor and that realtor. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually what I'm trying to not do. Right. And respect to them and, respect to what they're doing. But I am trying to sell my real self. I didn't get into this to then fit molds of other people. Like, I got into this to live in my real truth. I want whoever works with me and wants to work with me, the actual me, the funny, weird guy that I could be. You know what I mean? But to understand, he really knows his stuff, but he's just genuinely himself. This here is for you guys, the movers and the shakers, the motivated and creators, the big thinkers, the big dreamers, the outliers, the one pushing the needle forward, the students of the game and the ones making their lanes, the ones that get things done and know everything is one. Welcome to your pod, the Everything is Everything podcast. Let's go!
Can't ignore it, this my story, I've been more than ready. And this stuff I'm cooking up is like culinary. True intentions, must I mention, it's just legendary.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Everything is Everything podcast. My name is Vladimir Ledesma.
And my name is Fabio Suarez.
And we are back with another exciting one. Great book that we covered this week.
Yes, sir.
One of my favorite, The Go-Giver. Amazing book. Covers so many good points in this one. I mean, this is something to live by, right? This is something like I know you believe a lot in, I believe a lot in, and it's my second read of it, which made it like interesting because I think I read it like a year and a half ago.
Right.
I got so much more from it even this time.
Yeah, no, for me, it just basically illustrates what I'm already wanting to do now. Like I was telling you off camera, it just basically puts a perfect words to what I'm wanting to do. So
love it.
Right.
You look sharp today, sir.
Thank you, man.
Very nice.
Appreciate that.
I like it. I like the look. So there's 5 laws here. The first law was the law of value. And, the lesson was your worth is determined by how much more you give in value than what you take in payment. So, they correlate with each other. Like, what's the value that you bring to the table will let you know how much you'll be able to gain in income. But not only in income, in relationships, in trust, and everything. And I think it's just important, like the law of value, like adding value to everybody around you as much as possible before thinking about,
exactly. Before getting.
Yeah, before getting and thinking about like, what's in it for me? It's like, just give.
Yeah.
And the world's going to repay you back. So like my people who are big on karma are really going to get this because that's what made this resonate with me.
Yeah, for me, it was that. Like, I think I'm going to walk away. That was the main point because we can't ever think about what am I going to get from this? Like, if he doesn't pay me so-and-so, I'm not going to do it, right?
Right.
That is completely the opposite of this book, right? And it's just, he tells you, if you really want to grow in life and get a lot of value for yourself, give a lot of value first.
Right.
Without thinking about that return. It's a way of life, he said. I love that. He said it's a way of life. It's not a strategy. It's a way of life. So I hope that, the listeners really take that. Like, it's a way of life. Not just, I'm going to do this today because eventually I'll get what I want. But it's more, let me just think about it. Let me just think about giving always.
Let me always give.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that resonated so much with me. And the person who brought this law, because I want to break down kind of the people that were involved, was a restaurant owner, Ernesto. The mentor Pinder. So he meets this guy Pinder who brings him, Gus is the one who knows him from his office, and he's like, hey, this, he's a big influence guy. Like, he's got a lot of clout. I really want to get around this Pinder guy because I need this deal to go through, and I'm sure he can get it done because he has a lot of clout, a lot of mystery. It seems like a lot of success.
Right.
So I would love to set up a meeting with him. Do you think you can make it happen? And he was like, sure, here's his number. And he got the meeting so easily that he was like, wait, why is this meeting so easy to get?
Right.
And it's like, but you got to come meet with him, and he's only going to work with you if you agree to his terms. And then his terms were that he had to hang out with him for a week and go through these values. And then as the week went along, Mr. Pinder took him to meet a person a day that would teach him each new law. And it was so cool. And the first person was Ernesto, the restaurant owner.
That point of what I just said, that's where it came. He said, one of the things that I liked, it was he wanted to grow his business, right? The restaurant. and he was saying that the best restaurant owners are the ones who think about the value. Like they want to make sure that whoever comes in, the expectation is way beyond what the person came there for.
The service is top notch.
Yeah, and it's not about like, oh, exchanging for money. Like you give me money, I give you food. It's not just those are the mediocre restaurants, right? They're just thinking about that. But he said if you want to be a top notch restaurant, you got to think about exceeding their imagination, like going beyond that, giving them the best. And that really, got to me because it's like in my life, whatever I do, if I do a video for you or if I do a video for a client, if he's not going to give me money or if he's going to give me $100, I got to do it like if I'm going to get paid millions of dollars, right? Because it's not for his money. I just want to exceed his. Now I'm going in there now, like the expectation is, I got to just exceed his imagination. I got to like go past what he was thinking he was going to get from me.
So you're going to make it a work of art.
Right. Not about money though, because I just want to make it a work of art. And I want to make sure I'm serving him at that high level.
Yeah, I think that, I correlate with it the same way. Like the service that I like to give, I always tell people that, like, it's the service that you give to people. Like, right, the value that you bring to them. Like, not even only in the service of like, oh, is it a real estate? It's like, how do I make you feel in these 2 hours that you're with me? Right. How's the whole energy, the whole process?
Yeah.
Like a big thing with me that I always tell people is important is like the communication in what I do. I'm just speaking about making sure that, like, I know the anxiety that's involved in deals. So I don't like to make people wait, and I like to give them fair expectations. To set that expectation past the imagination, but also for, like, what I do where it's more, like, tense in many ways, right? Like, you're waiting for a response when you place an offer,
right,
or you're negotiating. I always like to tell them, hey, here's what to expect. These are the next things that are going to happen. And it's like, that's a part of my service to keep them at ease, right? Because the point is to make it as painless as possible.
You're almost like a counselor too at the same time.
In a way, right?
Yeah.
So like, but it's almost to make it as painless as possible. So I love that though, because that's the lesson there. Give value. And like you said, the restaurant owner, it's not just about the transaction. It's about how are you making everybody feel when they're connecting with you.
Right.
And I think that this whole book has to do a lot with how are you making people feel when they're connecting with you.
And he made that point too. He said, it's not, people don't really care how you make, what you know, but how you make them feel, right? Like they work with people that they like.
100%.
That was one of the things too that I was like, man, I don't know if we spoke about that.
I think we touched on it a few podcasts
ago. The fact that it's being brought up again, it just shows you it's like there's clues, right? There's signs of success here. Like, that's really the main thing. People want to work. They want to give you their money so you can help them, but mainly they like you. They want to work with you,
right?
Because you're the brand. There's something about you that brings them to you. So,
and it's more than they want to give you them. Like people work with you not because they want to give you their money. It's because they do see the value that you're bringing, right? And they do see, but on top of the value, they have to feel good about it, right? Like, because if you've ever met somebody who's like, oh, he's trying to sell you. Oh, I got this for you, like. It's like, oh man, this guy's trying to sell me again. Like, it doesn't. That just doesn't feel good. But when you're with someone who's like, they do sales, but they're just a genuine person. Like, man, that dude is just cool. He's just hanging out. He's not coming off like,
Right, and that's what I was saying. Like, I'm willing to give my money because I'm like, I believe this guy. I believe in this guy, and I believe in his performance.
Right.
I believe in where he's been and where he's going.
And where he's going.
His energy is contagious. I need to be around that.
I love that.
So
I love that. The law of compensation was taught by Nicole, who was the teacher who then started her business. Your income depends on how many people you serve and how well you serve them. Joe, who's the main character in the book, he's just looking for success, right? And he's like, listen, I need this account for third quarter. Yeah. I'm trying to hit my numbers. I might get fired if I don't make it. So he's running around, with his mentor here, but he's like, man, what are these people really selling me? They're telling me to just give. Yeah. How am I gonna make money? Like, and they're telling me that I gotta service people, but it's all about service and serving. Like,
when will I ever make the money?
Like, yeah, when is this gonna really make sense? And Nicole really made a good point to say it, because he brought up like, all right, cool, but like, How about money? And he goes, well, the money will come. The money will come. It's not the focus.
Yeah.
The money will come naturally by how many people you impact. The more people you're able to impact in their life, because you're bringing important value that they need, a necessity to their life, the more abundant, forget money because we're using the word, but the more abundant in general your life will be. So that one was like, I mean, right, nail on the head, right?
It's powerful.
That one was, that was strong.
Yeah, giving away more in value than what you get paid for. That was their big secret. You know, that was the big secret. Just giving away, and it doesn't matter, right? Like the guy was like, "Oh, but that sounds like a way of a bankruptcy. If I give so much, I'm gonna go bankrupt."
Right.
But you see, like that's just a flawed way of thinking.
Right.
You know, when we think like that, of course, we're never gonna go anywhere because we're thinking, well, I'm not gonna get nothing from this, or it's never gonna work out because all my money's going into this.
Right.
But you don't know that's actually gonna bring all those things to you.
I love something that you said right there because that's another thing that I keep forgetting the main guy's name, the mentor. It was Pinder. Mr. Pinder told them. He goes, Mr. Pinder tells them at the beginning when they're speaking in their first lunch, you know, he tells them like, oh, well, the secret is to give. And the guy's like, what do you mean to give? He thinks he's like, this is a scam. Like, what's going on? And he goes, and Mr. Pinder says, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but won't people take advantage of you? Won't people? And I've told you that I have an issue with this. Yeah. I definitely have an issue with this. Like, so.
I think we all do. I think everybody in their, you know, depending on where they their background is, I think they've had this issue.
Of course. And I mean, just dealing with the world in general, because the world can be a shady place.
Right.
But I love that because it triggered me to like think of that. Like, damn, I'm still stuck in that. Because I know this already. I've read this book. I've read a couple books that I know this. Yeah. But it's like, man, and even me, I'm still challenged with this hurdle where I have a hard time just the trust aspect is like, man, and he says, he goes, you know, I know what you're thinking. You're gonna, you know, people are gonna take advantage of you. You're gonna get done wrong. He goes, but what you're gonna realize is the more you give, actually, the more you're gonna see that that's not the case. You know, once your mind shifts from that, that's not going to be the case because people are going to be so pleased with you, so happy with you, that they're going to want to pay it forward to others, pay it forward to you. The world will give it back to you. It might not be something that me, you know, Fabio does for me that automatically I reciprocate back to him, but it's going to come back.
Yeah, and it comes out of you too. Like when you are standing in front of somebody who's so giving, you kind of sense it. Like you sense it, even though you don't know the person. But just when they're in your space, you kind of get that vibe. Like this person's just a really giving guy, and you don't even know why, but it's coming out of him.
And it gives good energy
because he's been doing it so long, and it's so different.
Right, and it gives good energy.
Right.
Because like I do consider myself a giving person, but in the back of my head is always like, oh, am I giving too much, and they're gonna take advantage of me?
Yeah.
And that's the part that we're gonna get to in one of the laws actually later. That's flawed thinking. Like, I know that that's flawed thinking. I do give, because I think you know me. Like, I try to put things into position, people in a position. I always, for clients, of course. But there does always come a point where I'm like, man, I'm sabotaging myself, ain't I? And it's like, no, you're not. If you're doing the right thing is the right thing. That's what the real point of this is. Like, the right thing is the right thing. Giving is the right thing. You know, giving all of you without the thought of what's coming back is the right thing. You know, we believe in faith-based. Right. God's got you anyways.
Right.
God's got you anyways.
Yeah.
So that's
and super. Now that you said that, like, this is a biblical concept. That's why this book resonates with me so much and the things that we're saying, because it is more blessed to give than to receive.
Right.
And I've decided to my whole business model in the next couple of months and always, but is the idea to like give first. They like my work, then if you see the value in this, let's work out terms. But
even that, I'm gonna just challenge it a little bit, because in this book they actually challenge that same comment. They go
right, they do,
and at the end of it. But we'll touch on it later. Where the blessed, it's more blessed to give than to receive.
Right.
They challenge it, but again, it comes from how we're taught. Right. The same reason that we're like, oh, just give. No, somebody's going to take advantage. Right. It's the same reason why sometimes we block our blessings, and we're going to get into that one in a minute. But I love that you brought that up, because it's just challenging our thoughts, because this is why you can read a book, you can kind of comprehend it, but you got to really dig deep into it, because there'll be parts where it's like, you read the title and you're like, oh, the Go-Giver, I get it. Just give. I don't got to read it. I got it. Yeah. No, you got to read it, because there's little paragraphs in here that give the hidden gems.
Right.
And that was a big one for me. Like when he mentioned actually don't block your blessings to receive. It's not bad to receive. It's something we're taught. But you got to have that channel open in both directions.
Yeah. One of my mentors, they said this, like, if you have your fist always closed, like if you try to give something to somebody, right, you're not going to be able to, because your hand is not opening.
Yeah.
And you're also not going to receive, though, into that hand. I was blown away.
That's a bar.
I was blown away with that statement.
Who was that? What mentor was that?
Jamal King.
Jamal King. You got a shout out for that one. That was a good one.
So he said that, and it stood in my mind, and ever since I do think about it, like the times that I am, because this is something we're all growing into, right?
Right.
The times that I see myself being a little stingy or like holding back, like what you said, like maybe I shouldn't do that.
Right.
Because, it's something that we all deal with, but I think about those things. And now, especially this, it's like, man, I got to evolve, and I got to evolve out of this.
We got to evolve. And that's what these books, I think, are doing for us personally, and hopefully doing for you guys that are here listening for these reviews. I love it. The more that you can give in value, the more that you will receive in earnings of whatever that is for you. But the more people that you can affect in the world, the more the world will be a beautiful place, is really what I really want to take from that.
Right.
And then the third law is the law of influence. And it's taught by Sam, the financial advisor. Your influence grows as you prioritize helping others succeed. So this was the clout and the influence, right? How are you, how do people get those? You ever walked into a room and it seems like everybody loves that one person? Like they're like, oh, he's here, oh,
yeah.
Oh, and everybody wants to be around them. And you're like, well, what's the big fuss about them?
What did he do?
Like, what's the big deal about them? A lot of times you'll find that person has impacted those people with some form of service, and it doesn't have to be necessarily of service to them in general. I'll give you the example of this lady in my daughter's school, because she comes to mind with this is a power. She is like the class mom. She's the main class mom, so she like organizes a lot of the stuff in the class and things like that. People love this lady, and they just love being around her, I think, and it's because of her involvement in their kids' life, right? Like, cause like when my daughter's first day of school it's her first day, and she's in the school, and this lady's in there, and she is very bubbly, lively, and she's saying hi to all the moms. Like, I'm like, is she one of the teachers? No, she's just a mom in the class, but she's the class mom, and all the moms know her. They were all coming up to her, hey, how are you doing? How was your summer? Boom, 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 boom. What did you guys do? And it was just like, you just felt that energy, like, wow, everything's gravitating to her. Yeah. And it was like, why is everything gravitating to her? Like, why is everybody, I'm new to the school, I didn't know at the time. So I'm like, man, what's happening over there? Come to find out a few weeks later, she's the one who organizes the school trips. The kids are doing a bunch of activities weekly. They dress up, they do this, and she's like the one being creative and putting these things together.
Yeah.
It made me even be like, man, I really like that lady, because my daughter's having a great experience, right? A service that she's bringing to my daughter, which makes me happy. And it's like, it's the value she's bringing.
Right.
That's the power of the influence that I saw that day and have seen throughout, is by the service that she's giving to everyone around her.
Right. And so again, going back to that, she's waking up every day with a service attitude, and I'm pretty sure she's not asking herself, when is the school ever going to pay me?
The school doesn't pay her.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure she doesn't wake up saying that. I'm sure she's waking up like, I really just want to do this for my daughter or her,
right. I just want my daughter to be in a great school that has all these things, and I have the time and ability to make sure that it's in her class, and not only for her, but for all these other 24 kids that are
And I think this is a strong point, which I think it's really powerful to mention. I think the reason she's there is because she has given so much in her life.
Right.
Like the reason why she's able to give probably now wherever she's at.
Yeah.
Because she's already given so much.
Absolutely.
She's been put in a position where she even has the time and energy to be in a school at that time of the day.
She actually doesn't even. It's kind of crazy because she actually goes right to work after.
Oh, that you see? So
she's there bright and early, does this, and goes to work just like the rest of us. And it's phenomenal. And not only that, but another thing that happens with this, when you have the law of influence, because it's the law of influence, this person has influenced every other parent in her class. So what happens to the school in a time like this? And I love this because, especially for parents, you know, we always try to put everything on the school sometimes. Like, we are responsible. And I'm just taking the moment to say this, but like, her doing that has also done this like ripple effect where now all the parents want to be involved.
Wow.
Everybody wants to be involved. Every time there's a contribution, everybody wants to contribute because it's like, wow, we have these big hitters that want to contribute. They come and they're always there. Like, maybe I can't be there physically, but like I can pay for school supplies for everybody, right?
You know what's so cool is that you're even bringing her up on a pot like now because her influence was that much.
Was that meaningful?
It was that
powerful.
meaningful. It's powerful.
Yeah, and it just because I like to find real life examples. It's
Right.
like I always try to find real life examples that I can correlate these things to. I'm sure I can find a million more, but yeah, that's just so powerful. So the law of influence, I mean, your influence grows as you prioritize helping others succeed. And again, this is not only financially, this is just abundantly in life. You know, we are social creatures. If you want to know how to get more friends at school, whatever it is,
right.
Add more value. And yeah, maybe at first it'll be like, oh, he's a yes man, or oh, he's a boom, boom, boom. Eventually, the tides will turn and they will see, oh, we're going to get into that one. The law of authenticity, which was brought by Deborah, the real estate agent. Shout out to Deborah in this book, The Go-Giver. That was awesome. I felt like her chapter 1 obviously resonated with me a lot, but she was on stage speaking and she went very deep and spoke about her husband leaving and how that was a gift for her. The most valuable gift you can offer is your true, authentic self. And the reason it went into that was because Deborah, who was speaking on stage, which Joe, who is the main character, didn't know from anywhere, and he's just sitting there with his mentor watching her speak. He sees how she has this charisma about her and how she's like genuine, has humility in her manner of speaking, but is like has engaged the whole audience. And she speaks about how when she was divorced, and the gift that her husband gave her was that when she was divorced and tried to go back to the workforce because she was just raising her kids not just raising, because that's a real job, but raising her kids for 20 years, they kind of didn't respect her because they were like, oh, well, you know, you're older, no real experience because you haven't been in the workforce. And she goes, and I believed it for a while. She goes, and I believed that I didn't have anything to offer. And then I realized the most valuable gift you can offer is your true, authentic self. And she was able to really meet with this client that she was about to quit real estate. And she was like, I learned all the sale pitches. I learned how to do all the sale pitches, all the closing techniques that there are.
Yeah.
And she mentions like a million closing techniques. And then she was like, none of them worked for me.
So powerful, man.
None of them worked for me.
Yeah.
Because they didn't resonate with her. And she was just trying to fit into a mold that wasn't hers.
As you're talking, like I'm thinking about a call that I just had with Muggs. Shout out to Muggs.
Shout out to Muggs.
But you know, he was saying that like your energy is what's gonna make it go live. Is what's gonna
he's a unique guy. That's a unique guy.
Is what the video. That's why the video is gonna go viral. Is because it's your energy.
Right.
People want to see you and your energy. Right. And the more you keep it to yourself, like keep it back, it's not gonna go nowhere. So if they see that in the video and they see that passion, they see Fabio or they see Vladimir, that's what people are looking at. That's what they care for. And it's like, it just reminds me of what you're saying.
Nah, I love that.
It's powerful.
I love that. And even what with one of my favorite videos that we've done is not even on the pod, and we're gonna put it out soon. Is us walking.
That's right. That.
And I think that video resonates with me so much because we're not worried about the camera. Does this look good? Is it organized? It was just like we're just talking and walking, so we're really not thinking about it because we're walking, just trying to keep up our energy.
Right.
But man, that was awesome. Like I feel like you were cracking up on there, like
exactly, because I wasn't thinking about it, and I didn't think of it like you putting it out. I thought you were gonna maybe put it out, but it was just like, all right, let's just do it.
Let's just do something, yeah.
Yeah, but it was more like I'm just walking and talking.
Yeah.
So it's more organic.
Exactly, that organic or authentic. I think content, but just in life in general, when you're just organic,
right,
and giving, and that just comes as a natural thing from you,
because there's nobody that is like you. Like that's what you're selling.
Yeah.
Like that's what they want. They want
right.
you. Like, you know, I go back to my faith. No one will ever be made like you. He literally, God formed you and did everything he did just on you.
He
like
molded you. Yeah.
He didn't make like you and somebody else just like you. Even your twin, I forget where, but like science says like even twins don't have the same
chromosome.
Like, exactly, like the same DNA. Like they're different.
100%.
At the end of the day, even twins they look the same, but they're different.
Of course.
And God, when he created us, he made that blueprint each one of us have, and that's what people want. When you get closer to that in your life, is like that's when you grow the most, when you enjoy the most of life, because you're living in your unique self or your unique purpose.
Right.
You could say.
Yeah. So, I get that a lot of times from people. They're like, "Wow, why don't you do more videos like this realtor, that realtor?" And I'm like,
yeah,
that's actually what I'm trying to not do.
Right.
And respect to them, and respect to what they're doing, but I am trying to sell my real self, like in the sense of like I'm really trying to show. And my big thing that I tell people is like I didn't get into this to then fit molds of other people. Like I got into this to live in my real truth. I want whoever works with me and wants to work with me to want to work with me, the right. actual me, the funny, weird guy that I could be. You know what I mean? But to understand, he really knows his stuff, but he's just genuinely himself.
Yeah, and I forget the person, but I saw an interview recently, and she contributes her success to the idea that she forgot about what people thought about her. And she started to become more of who she was. She said, like, stop caring about what everybody else is thinking about you, and just the quicker that you can just start doing what you want to do, like what you know you're supposed to do, and not what you thought your mom thought for you,
right,
or your dad or whoever.
Society. Yeah,
society. Once you finally like get rid of that feeling or that idea in your head, that's when you're gonna see you're gonna blow up. Like your life is gonna go to the next level because you stop thinking about this person or that person. You became what you were supposed to be.
Right.
So.
And I think just trying to live in that truth, law of authenticity,
right.
and again, just being authentic, genuine, loving, caring to people, I think it matters.
Right.
And just to I don't even know if I finished the point of Deborah where she knew all the sales pitches. The moment that she just was herself and had fun with this lady, she was like, she just let go of the script and just started cracking up with the lady because she was like, I'm gonna quit tomorrow anyways, and just started like having a good time with the person. She got like her career went to the next level, and that person started referring people because they were like, this is just an amazing person. If you're gonna do this already, you're gonna go buy a house or you're gonna go to this restaurant or whatever it is that you're gonna do. Well, on top of that, you're already gonna do that here. Do it with this amazing person who's just a good person as well.
Unbelievable. That's such a great point.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then the final law, which was given by Gus the Connector, which Gus is super interesting because Gus was looming. He was in the book the whole time. Gus was basically like a manager that worked at the office. But he was very like mysterious, Gus. Nobody really knew about him. They thought he was a trust fund baby. They thought that he had just hit the lotto or something. We're just keeping it because he was like, we never see him really like stressed about hitting the numbers. Like he's never stressed about hitting the numbers. We never see him really like cold calling and trying to get these calls. He's just going on lunches with people and, you know, meeting people and golfing with this guy or that guy. And it's like, this guy doesn't even seem like he's working. It just seems like he's playing around. And he had this mystique to him. And then long story short, which Gus was the person who sent Joe to Mr. Pinder, his mentor. And at the end, we find out that Gus is the connector. Gus gives the law of receptivity to be open to receiving. And kind of tells him, like, you know, so it's give, give, give. And we're taught the one that you said. Say,
and then I'll take. Then you give me something.
Yeah, say it again though, the biblical one, like, because it's even biblical.
Yeah,
it's better
it's more blessed to give than to receive.
It's more blessed to give than to receive, which is what this book is saying.
Yeah.
But we almost see it as a bad thing to receive sometimes, right? Or we block our blessings. I think when I was reading this, I thought of like 100 times that I'm like, no. Or wait, maybe later. Too busy. It's like, I wonder how many of those were opportunities that I missed out on because whatever, I wasn't open to just the idea. Like, if it definitely doesn't make sense, all right, some things just definitely don't make sense, but we got to be open sometimes to just receiving. Receive, right?
And I believe it goes back to kind of what we were talking about. Like, once you're doing what you're supposed to do, what you love, what you care about the most, use that to serve other people. Because it's interesting that each one had a gift.
Yeah.
Right. One was a connector, the other one was a realtor, and they were all helping each other out.
Right.
But there was a reason why the realtor was doing what she was doing. The connector was doing what he was doing. The quicker you get to your role, is like, the more you're gonna give of yourself in that role.
The more you can play your position.
Yeah, because if you're giving yourself of everything else, of course you're not gonna really give because you haven't found what you're supposed to give. But when you finally say, hey, no, this is my niche.
This is where I'm at. Yeah.
And I wanna give of this to everybody.
I love it.
So then that person, you're gonna give to that person. If that person is also doing what they're supposed to do, they're gonna give. And everybody's just gonna keep giving and it's just gonna grow.
Right.
And everybody's in the same line of thinking. Like, it's inevitable that we're going to get to where we need to get to.
Everything's in sync. So, like, yeah, the law of receptivity is being open to receiving. And that makes this be full circle because of what you're saying. Because the next thing that I basically put to cover here is just how all 6 people that are involved in this book then become all partners and are each other's network.
That's what, because when I saw that in the book, I was like, this is another point that I wanted to take into my life. Like, if I just know that if I give of what I can give, it's gonna come back. 100%. I'm gonna get team members that are gonna want to give back. Even though I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking, oh, give it to me because I did it for you. No, it's just like, look, did this video serve you the way that you wanted, and did I exceed your expectations? If not, please tell me because I want to do it better next time. Right. And it's just coming back with that. It's like they come back to me like, hey, it was great. By the way, you know, they'll tell me what they're doing and it just helps. It's just like, you know, we just grow.
And even more than it coming back is just like being able to help even more because now your reach is that much stronger. Right. Because that's what they're doing. Like, they're a team and they build like a business together. At the end of it all, they're like, kind of work together, right? But it's kind of funny because I feel like I have in my life, I can kind of point to certain people that I feel like are kind of putting this puzzle together just like this. And it comes a lot from just genuine. Nothing that I really want from the people. It's always, hey, I got this opportunity that I think would be good for you. And they do the same for me. Hey, there's this opportunity I see here that I think might fit well for you. There's never like an attachment to it that's like, but I want to be involved or but I need something back. It's just like, oh, look, hey, you know, I know you do real estate. This is a networking event I thought you would be phenomenal for. Right. Wanted to bring it to your attention. Thanks, man. Like, thanks for thinking of me. Yeah. And like, hey, and like I have certain people like when anybody talks to me about anything with cars, oh, I need a paint job. Oh, maybe you want to get a wrap. You probably want to go to my brother Sean. Like, you want to go get go to Link Wraps because you know, he wants to get it done. Like, I'm not calling Sean like, yo, hey, I need 20% commission on that.
No.
Though it wouldn't hurt, but I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's just because that's a genuine connection that I have. Yeah. I know he's great at the service that he gives, and it's just another way for me to help you too.
And you always notice like those are he's giving of that. Like that's what he gives. That's what his
that's his specialty. Yeah.
But you would never really go to him and be like, hey, can you take care of my child? Can you go like
right?
You know, like his service, his giving is that, and he gives
his specialty,
and he's giving it at a high level.
Right.
And now like you guys are connected and etc.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like I just love that, and like I just gave him as an example, but there's even more people than that. Yeah. And again, it's just, I mean, and I'm blessed, and I get that all the time, right? Because in a referral-based business. I feel that all the time, where somebody's like, "Hey, Vlad, my cousin was looking for a house," or "Hey, I thought of you. Somebody brought up something, and I thought of you. I gave them your number, so I expect a phone call."
Right.
It's not with an expectation of anything, and that's what this thing is about. Like, how many people can we affect positively? How many people in our circles can we help out positively? And like, it just becomes an abundant world.
Right. So it's kind of like in the ecosystem, right? Like if something stops giving its service, or like the trees give off oxygen.
Yeah. If one part of the system stops, the whole thing will crumble.
Yeah. Or that thing that stopped is gonna die. Eventually, it's just gonna die. And that's where mutualism, like, it takes place. You got to keep on giving to be a part of that ecosystem.
Right.
Like you got to keep giving and giving and giving, because if you stop, you're gonna die.
To keep nourishing the ecosystem.
Yeah, you're gonna end up dying eventually.
Yep.
So I think that's a strong point.
I love that. Like, and actually, so that goes to a point that I actually shared opportunities. Each of the 6 people directly benefit from helping others. For example, Ernesto's restaurant hosts network dinners. Nicole's software aids business growth. Sam's advice strengthens financial futures. And Deborah's real estate services help the group secure property. So they're all working together. And they refer each other's services into their own networks, expanding each person's influence and reach, because they all operate on the principle of giving first. They trust each other's intentions and expertise. Trust. They trust each other's intentions. And I think that's the words that's my struggle. I sometimes don't trust others' intentions. I think the world, I have a lot of clients even that sometimes don't trust my intentions. So this resonates with me a lot, and I'm like I'm not trying to scam you. I'm not trying to get over on you. Like, I don't want you to pay more. Like, if you pay $10,000 more, that doesn't really give me more money. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't that's not going to make a big difference of how I'm going to service you. But a lot of clients will be like, do you really believe that they have multiple offers?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, no, I understand where, and I take the time to explain, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but this is why it would be unwise of them to say it if it wasn't true.
Right.
But just to the point of like, it's the lack of trust. They're like, this salesman is trying to get over on me. And it's like, when you have a network that you trust who they are, that you trust that they trust each other's intentions and expertise, that's what you need. Because then nothing can fail around that. And I personally have opted out to deal with, like, actually a lot of times when I see a lot of people that are doing phenomenal, but their principles don't match with mine. And people will look at me like I'm crazy. Like, who do you think you are? It's like, you don't want to work with them? Like, no, I don't believe that their principles align with mine. But they're making millions. Like, you could sell probably, but their principles don't align with mine. Right. So I don't trust their intentions and expertise. Right. I think that they'll get over on me. I think that they'll get over on someone else. And that is not the person I want in my ecosystem. Yeah. I'm looking for this. Right. You know? So like, I love that point, because that again strikes a chord with me to something I struggle with, which is the trusting people. But also you do have to know when things align with what you're looking for, with your principles. Right.
And just to throw this out there, like The Speed of Trust is a great book. We should do that next. But it talks about that, like why it's so important to to gain, like to have trust amongst your amongst the company or the business that you're running and what you're doing, because there's nothing better than when the person that you're working with trusts you, because then it's like there's no question. It's gonna be faster. You guys are gonna do what you're doing or get where you're trying to get to faster because there's trust.
Right.
Everybody understands their purpose, but they trust each other on what they're doing, right? We spoke about this in one of the books, but The Speed of Trust, really, really great book. I skimmed through it, but there are points that you can,
we'll make it one of the books. We'll add it to our list.
Right.
Guys, so this was the Go Giver review. Such a phenomenal book, has so much value. We couldn't even cover everything that's in here. Honestly, you have to read this book.
And
There's
it's
so
only 2
many.
hours.
It's 2 hour, like you can read it in like 2-3 hours. It's honestly an easy read, full of value. I recommend it to everyone. If you're here, you probably either read it or want to read it. And please leave us some comments below with what you guys took away that maybe we missed. I would love to hear some of the comments that you guys have and feedback. This is a growth mindset place, and we're just trying to soak up and learn as we make these videos. So Please like, share, subscribe, share with a friend, and hope to catch you guys on the next one. This has been the Everything is Everything podcast. See you guys soon.
This is extraordinary. Can't ignore it. This my story. I've been more than ready.